And the company found, okay, 50,000 worth of spending on 2,200 ads. So it's just lots of ads. It's a big spend. It's a lot of money. They're also going to counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging as the global narrative shifts. And I think this strategy is just a terrible strategy, personally. I think it's going to backfire big time because people don't want to be force-fed an ideology. It's just too much.
And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him.
If your church is on this list, you might be subject to a foreign influence operation. Now, this one is pretty transparent because this list is coming from a FARA document that is explaining exactly what's going on. But it's targeting a bunch of West Coast states, including my state, Arizona. And you can see a bunch of churches are on here, some that you're very familiar with. Scottsdale Bible Church, very big in Scottsdale. Size, about 6,000. We've got a bigger one, 20,000 over here. Dream City Church, that's in Phoenix. And the list goes on and on. Now, a bunch of these are in Arizona, California, and various other locations. And I was trying to see if the St. Francis or the Franciscan Renewal Center was on this list. I don't think so. Maybe that's because they're Jesuits. But many churches that I recognize, having lived in Arizona my whole life, you've got one from California. We're going to come back on the California list. Some big ones in Colorado. Got a big one, 12,000 here. New Life Church. Rest of them, 2,000, 5,000, 15,000 over here. The Flatirons Community Church. Big group over there. We've got Central Christian Church in Nevada, 21,000. Woodlands in Texas, 18,000. And the list goes on. 24,000 in Grapevine, 28,000 in South Lake, Texas. All of these churches now coming under scrutiny. And you can see the list just goes on and on and on and on. And what's interesting about this is the people behind this are calling this the biggest Christian geofencing campaign ever in their own documents, saying that we're targeting all these churches for a specific reason. You might agree with the reason, but here is what is ultimately happening. You can see from the DOJ, FARA registration statement, Exhibit A, this submitted not long ago at the end of September, explaining that the name of the registrant who is behind this operation is called Show Faith by Works, LLC. Primary address out in San Diego. And who are they acting on behalf of? Who are they acting as registrants for? Our greatest ally, baby, right here. Their Ministry of Foreign Affairs coming out of Jerusalem over there in the Middle East. Now, they say, here's what you want to disclose to us. Yep, we're acting on behalf of a government or foreign interest. We've got all these people coming in, and they're going to give us a bunch of details on exactly what's going on and how extensive this is and what they're going to be doing to those churches. But here is what is being signed, 9/26. This dude, Chad Schnitger, is here and signing off on it. Now, they write, there is no formal written contract between the registrant and the foreign principal. So we don't know like how much money they're going to get in total or what the length of this agreement is. The agreement with the above named foreign principal has resulted from an exchange of correspondence. We've just been sending stuff and we're going to do this. If this box is checked, attach a copy of all the materials. Now, what is the date of contract or agreement with the foreign principal? You'll see 9/18/2025. So I don't know if this has already started and if you're in one of these churches, if you've already been targeted, but we'll find out. Now, here's the nature of what they're doing. So Show Faith by Works on behalf of our greatest allies. They say, here's our plan. Christian outreach through various grassroots and digital targeting of Christians in the Western U.S. We will create a mobile museum to display at churches, Christian colleges, and Christian events. We will target and distribute pro-Israel information online and through targeted geofencing of all of those churches and using social media and digital tools. We will have teams of people reaching out to churches and pastors, and I'm going to show you like the breakdown, lots of money, lots of people, and possibly even Christian social media influencers who they're going to go talk to. Some of this is still undecided and fluid, but these are the outlets that we have planned and proposed. Well, what else are you going to do? We're also going to do more activities. Are they going to be political activities? Yes, clearly. Saying, well, what are you going to do politically? We're going to encourage Christians to have a more favorable view of the nation of Israel, and we're going to encourage Christians to visit Israel for tourism purposes. Now, have you engaged in any other activities like this before? No. First operation here. And during the beginning 60 days, have you received any income before you registered? During the period 60 days before you registered, were you getting cash or something? Yep. What'd you get? Oh, we got $325,000 from this company called Havas Media. They're based in Germany. And this is for Christian outreach in the Western United States. And so I think it's appropriate to talk about the amount of money as well. $325,000, we're just scratching the surface. It's going to be millions by the end of this. But just recall that when the Russians allegedly spent $100,000. You remember this? This is an NPR article from September 9th, 2017, PBS article. PBS says a Russian propaganda group purchased ads on Facebook during 2016. Here's what that means. Meltdown. We had a national crisis if you're a part of the Democratic Party because they bought $100,000 of political advertising. Now, of course, the Russians are not the same as the Israelis, but I just wanted to point out the numbers and show you what this bought. So $100,000, and this is in 2016, so before ChatGPT and all this stuff. Think about what's going on now. Facebook found 470 inauthentic accounts with 3,000 political ads. That's what $100,000 got. The ad purchases and the accounts are affiliated with the Russian troll farm, the Internet Research Agency. Most of the ads didn't even talk about the election. Instead, the ads were amplifying divisive social and political messages across the ideological spectrum, from LGBT stuff to race stuff to the gun rights stuff. And the company found, okay, 50,000 worth of spending on 2,200 ads. So it's just lots of ads. It's a big spend. It's a lot of money. And lots of accounts are set up. And that's the Russian operation. That was about 100 grand. Okay, so just to put things in context. So Christian outreach has started at 325 grand, and we're just warming up. It's going to be much bigger than that. There's also money that they got from multiple recipients, who knows from whom, the amount of $66,000 in total. Signed off on by these people, 9/27, not long ago. Tuong Do, Melissa Lundy, Robert Pursley, and Emily Hemingway, all a part of this op. Here's another one. I'm declaring myself. And here's another one. Emily is declaring I understand. Chad's doing the same. Now let's get into the budget. Here you go. So a couple estimated costs that are detailed for us here. Greystone HR, 50 G's. Grassroots staff, 1.5 million. Grassroots equipment, $424,000. The targeted media budget, $685,000. And a specialist purchasing budget of $500,000, $3.2 million in total as the required budget. Now, additional options, if we could ask for more budget, we want to ask for another $835,000. And then guess what? They're going to continue to expand. So they want Utah, Wyoming, and they want another $250,000 for Texas because, you know, Texas is giant. So expand it. So they're starting west and they're marching east, just kind of like a pilot program with about $3 to $4 million. So that's the loose budget. Here's a detailed description of what they want. So project manager. So this is a whole bucket of people who they need to hire. And this is paid for, by the way, from the Israelis who we pay. So it's us paying for this to happen in America. Money's fungible. They might say, well, that's military money. It's going for military service. Okay, fine. Then they don't have to buy that military with their money. And then they're using their money for this. Whatever. Just to be clear, they're setting up this entire operation to go persuade Christians to a certain ideological position. And this is the team that they're standing up. Project manager, deputy assistant, all the things. Let's listen to what some of these people are doing. Manage 3 teams and 6 states. Coordinate marketing digital teams with the Israeli consulate. Great. Be the direct point of contact and do administrative activities for Chad. Oh gosh. Coordinate with top tier Hollywood talent. Look, to book Christian celebrities and Christian athletes to deliver pro-Israel messaging. And use Hollywood connections to build a 5-star October 7th experience trailer. They also want to help gather existing media and assemble them to give to social media teams, contact big name pastors and evangelical influencers, and encourage them to write op-eds and to get us access to major churches and Christian colleges. Is this what Charlie Kirk was recommending? Because we read his letter. I don't think so. I think he was saying how they should create their own content and share their messages, not co-op and spam people with ads. But what do I know? Coordinate with Woody and the Israeli consulate. So this is his other person, and they've got a bunch of people already for this. Zach Long. You've got pastors who are going to go be working for the Israelis. Pastor Justin Kowalski, Pastor Ty Victor or others, Zach Long, are all in the candidates list. A Rick Warren ally. Kelly McGrath might be hired. Chad is, of course. This is what they want. They want in-house. They want pastoral research plan, stipends. They also want this person, Melissa Lundy. She's going to coordinate all the activities for California, Nevada, Arizona, traveling plans, commutes to all the Christian colleges, researches and books things. It's a full team. It's a full stand-up. And then, of course, a couple other people. The Dillon law firm, Harmeet Dillon. Oh, that's interesting. She's going to keep in compliance with foreign agent registration. Wow, that's nice that her law firm will be helping with that. Very convenient for them since she's, running the civil division. So here's what they're going to work on. Vehicle to tow the new 10.7 trailer. So they're going to have a 10.7 experience. It's going to be a large fifth wheel capable of towing the vehicle for 30 to 40 feet. It's going to be a mobile trailer, and they've got some slides for this. There's going to be a maintenance and a fuel budget. There's going to be walls, a touch screen, 55-inch touch screen with 3x displays, tent imagery, printed signs, and they're going to have scene materials to mimic 10.7, VR headsets, and they're going to create an immersive 10.7 experience. I don't even know what that means. Like you're going to get killed by Hamas Hamas person or something? Are they going to beam Netanyahu into your frontal cortex? I don't know. But portable 3600 watt generator. They're sponsoring a bunch of events, travel budget and more, printed materials, pastoral research packaging and more. And I want to show you this because they're basically treating this whole operation just like a marketing operation. And they even have a funnel that they'll show you what their numbers show. So here's what they want. Ford vehicle, about $70,000. You know, America is paying billions over to Israel. And so they're just turning that back around and buying Fords. Maybe this is the same argument that they often make. It's like, well, they have to spend it on our military. It's like, oh, great. So does that also apply to this? They have to spend it on our domestic propaganda? Is that like good now that they're buying Fords to go and spread their message? I don't know that that's appropriate, but here's more. You can see the budget is all listed out. Total budget about $500,000, which is coming from the Israelis. And here's more. Here's the description. Okay, just to be clear on what they're doing. This is the largest geofencing and targeted Christian digital campaign ever, according to them. They're going to geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, and Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship times. So while you're in there praying, they're gobbling up your data, the Israelis. Track attendees and continue to target them with ads. Now, also geofence our own events and other Christian events and continue to target Christians with effective ads and call to action. Create and collate on social media, target the Christians. 4-week web development timeline, creating logos, themes, and other things. Security to prevent attacks and redirect all web traffic to friendly sites and ensure the websites are at the top of the search results and prioritize our information demographics. That's what they're doing with their $4 million. So as it continues, you're going to see they give us a lot more details, about $685,000 for that. They need custom stuff. They need swag handouts. They need Christian endorsements with Christian influencers, 175 Gs for the mobile 10/7 experience. Another $550,000 is needed here. And here is where they do the breakdown. All right, the number of Christian megachurches: California 219, Nevada 14, Arizona 38, Colorado 32. Total 303 churches. They do a targeted Christian population, which is fun. Isn't that fun to be a targeted Christian population by foreign intelligence, by foreign diplomacy? 60% of them within the major population centers, almost 3.9 million people. Now they say that of those, a certain percentage of these people will convert. So they're going to target 3.9 million Christians. And then the high estimate, they're going to convert 233,000 people will convert to their thinking. Estimated number of churches and Christians that we think will agree to our programs or attend our events or sign a pledge card is 5 to 10%. So if 5% convert, they'll pick up 100,000 people with a pledge card or whatever. And 200,000 is at the high estimate. Giant numbers of people. Churchgoers and non-evangelical churchgoers. So you can see here's the total numbers there. And the price per contact to get these people to go and sign a pledge card or whatever. On the low end, $13 a head. On the high end, $27 a head. It's just an entire marketing platform. Total population estimate, 3.7 million. And all of this fully transparent. As you can see, here's what they're targeting: 303 churches. We got some slides coming up in a minute. Targeted population over here. We got all the churches that are listed. So all of these churches, if you're in it, you're going to be geofenced and your info will be gobbled up, and then you'll be sent some information from the Israelis. And what are they going to send you? What is the mission here? What is the goal? Is detailed for us in their slides, as we'll see. So here are all of the other entities that they're going after, all the denominations. We've got some billing that has come out, some documents showing what the invoice will be. So $3.2 million in equal payments of $651,000 on the 15th. So this has been going on August 15th, September, October, and November. So it may already be underway. So if you're in those churches, you might be seeing this stuff happening soon. Now, here are their slides. Show Faith by Works, a Christian education and Israeli information campaign paid for probably by American taxpayer dollars. So here's what they're doing now. They're going to combat low American evangelical Christian approval of the nation of Israel. And they're going to use biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians. And they're going to educate Christians on the historical importance of Israel and the significance in the region. And they're going to increase awareness of Palestinian ties to Hamas and how they want to kill you with evangelical populations. They're also going to counter new and evolving pro-Palestinian messaging as the global narrative shifts. And I think this strategy is just a terrible strategy, personally. I think it's going to backfire big time because people don't want to be force-fed an ideology. It's just too much. But they're also going to do this. They're also going to combine digital targeting and social media outreach to increase positive associations with the nation of Israel, large-scale Christian outreach, impressive physical displays of pro-Israel educational materials, and more. So here's some of the messages. Like, there's a lot of them. Messages to pastors and Christians Christians about Israel, its history, its biblical significance, about the history of Jews, educational messages about the history of the creation of Israel, its legitimacy as a power in the region, and its protection of non-Jewish populations, questions about the two-state solution, the historical existence and coexistence between Jews and Arabs, and Christians in Israel and the birthplace of Jesus, and, a whole section on the anti-Palestinian state. So they're going to say Hamas is a Palestinian terrorist organization, Palestinians elect Hamas, there was never a state of Palestine, highlight that the Palestinian and Iranian goals are not land-focused, but they're genocidal. Educate Christians on the history of radical Islam from the Israeli perspective, I'm sure, and highlight Palestinian support. It's just based, it's a full-on propaganda campaign is the only thing you can call it. And you might be in favor of it, right? You might say you're in favor of this in terms of the substance of it, but are you in favor of having our foreign money cleaned, our money cleaned through a foreign nation and then spent this way back to convince Americans of a certain ideology? Isn't that what our government is for? What our educational system is for? We want foreign countries coming in here and spending money to shift public opinion on these matters. It might lead to another full-blown war. Now, here are the themes, educational themes, history of Israel, counter popular and incorrect, they say, arguments about aid, military targeting, root cause of the conflict, and legitimacy of their land claims, how churches can visit the Holy Land. It's not a tourism type of effort. Hey, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger? Come to California. Come to California. You're like, okay, great. Or is it come to Israel? Israel's amazing. It's info warfare, which is happening. So they're going to hire a bunch of Christians. They're going to hire physical staff. They're going to build and deploy top-of-the-line mobile Israel displays with October 7 themes. They're going to ask for messages to go out in Christian churches by Christian leaders and co-opt Christian leaders for their own messages. And they're going to go to colleges and they're going to hire students and do all of the things, which I think is not a bad idea, right? But they don't need to co-opt the Christians. They can just do it themselves. Christian podcast hosts by prominent Christian leaders, Christian social media influencers going to target them. There's going to be digital support. Again, this is the largest geofencing and Christian targeting campaign in U.S. history. Okay, a digital targeting, it's going to redirect Christians to a website where pro-Israeli media can be found and forwarded. Charlie did talk about that. They should create more media and respond. This is their van. They're going to have a mobile setup that visits Christian colleges, and they're going to highlight the 10/7 atrocities with a VR headsets and set pieces and full-length TV. They're going to go to Christian events, and they're going to have Christmas messaging, which is just amazing. December for the Christian church is entirely about Christmas, the birth of Jesus. Suggested targeting messaging and changes for mega churches. Say, we protect Christians like no one else in the Middle East. Israel's the birthplace of Jesus. Come see Bethlehem for yourself. And it's all underway. And I don't appreciate foreign money coming in to try to brainwash people any which way. And I tried to find something. Is Qatar doing this? Is Qatar brainwashing people and releasing FARA documents like this? And I haven't seen anything. And if they are, I would love to see them like this. Are they targeting Christians to counter Israeli propaganda with Islam propaganda? Or I don't know what exactly is going on from the other end. But if you have any resources on that, I would like to see them. And if they're putting out full slides on this about how they're going to target the Christian churches and spread their message through those churches, then I think that is a problem across the board. Now, our laws allow it. There's nothing illegal about it. This is all, I appreciate the transparency on it. I just feel it's a little inappropriate for us to be paying for foreign countries to propagandize our own people, even if they do just disclose it and register it. And personally, I find stuff like this extremely distasteful. And I think that it is more about promotion than attraction. And I think what Charlie was saying to the Israelis is just show how attractive you can be. Just, live that and spread that message around. You don't have to, spend money and kind of co-opt influencers, because people then get resentful about that and target Christian and Catholic churches to shift the narrative in America. Why do they need to do that, by the way? What is that for? To raise money? To raise support for more wars? Like, what is the end game? I don't really know, but it's certainly a strange set of affairs. When the Russians do it, it's interference with our elections. When it's Israelis doing it, you have a lot of people endorsing it, geo-targeting Christian churches all over the country for a propaganda campaign. You might like the propaganda, but it's still propaganda from a foreign nation. It's coming in, and it seems very strange and concerning. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others have called for this to require people to register as foreign agents, and I would be in total support of that. Maybe she'll introduce some legislation for that. But Benjamin Netanyahu is right. There is a battle happening here on the internet, and here is how he framed it.
We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance, to that community. They're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. It doesn't work very well. And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
Followers.
TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. That's very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him.
Yep. So there is a new battlefield. And I think this is one attempt at shaping and shifting public opinion. But personally, I think stuff like this is just set to backfire because people want to come to their own conclusions. They don't want to be spammed with ads on Facebook. They don't want their sacred spaces of the churches being the subject of a political campaign and geo-targeting by foreign nations. And if Qatar is doing this too, which I haven't seen any evidence that they are, that would also be reprehensible. This is our sacred space. These are our churches. We don't want to come out of there getting cookied up with a bunch of propaganda from foreign nations, especially the ones that we're paying for. So we'll see what ultimately happens. I don't know what Charlie Kirk would say about this, but I think that his prescription was more about creating attractive content, not co-opting other people who've created attractive content and utilizing them for your own end goals. So we'll see ultimately what happens. I'm hopeful that we finally have peace on this issue so we can never talk about this stuff again and we can stop all this, propaganda and cajoling of the laws to serve special interest groups in America because we got our own problems to worry about here without having to be brainwashed by intelligence operations. So we'll keep our eye on this, my friends. Thanks for subscribing and joining as we do.